What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Test right here on youtube.com/SeanOsaurusRex. My name is Sean, and I am from Star Command, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. Seanosaurus Rex of Star Command. There we go. We figured it out. We worked the movie reference into the intro. We did it. High fives, everybody. Welcome on into the show. If you like taste test or content like this, I post content every single day, 6 a.m. and 7 p.m., but I post this show, Taste Test, right here on the channel every Saturday. 6 a.m. is when it goes up. You don't have to be up that early. Sometimes I say that, and I'm like, it doesn't matter, because it goes up, and then it's just up. And then I feel like people go like, you got to be up at 6 a.m. I'm like, no, you don't. It's a Saturday. To hang out, chillax. You don't have to do anything. It's there for when you want to watch it. It's just up at that time so that it's there when you want to watch it. Where was I? Oh, if you want to stay up to date on this show and see the latest items that I am testing, be sure to scroll down, subscribe, and ring that bell. That way you're notified when I post new videos. If you would like to leave a suggestion, you can leave one down in the comments below. Let me know where to find it, and you might see it on a future episode of this show. Today, I have a themed jersey, which is always good. I put a lot of thought, a lot of effort, and a lot of money into this very episode. I hope you're excited. I'm excited. So let's try it out. We have a special edition item to try today. Not a limited edition or limited time or seasonal, but a special edition item. And that is Lightyear cereal. One that I had actually given up hope on finding, and much like the Baja Blast Mountain Dew Energy, I happened to find that because I was over in Spokane. I found this one at a Safeway. I think there were 2 boxes left of this. Maybe I got the last one, not really sure. Wasn't on sale or anything. Pretty broke. Made sure that I had at least $5 for this, or $4 or whatever it was. But we have it. Now, I was hoping that with this cereal they would give me an exciting flavor, but it's kind of boring. It's just vanilla flavored cereal with marshmallows, flavored with other natural flavors. Space Ranger marshmallows. You got Lightyear here. It's pretty cool. I was excited about it, but I remember all the way back in 2010 they released a Toy Story 3 cereal that was actually like very, very good. I ate an ungodly number of boxes of Toy Story cereal as a 20-year-old man in the year 2010 or 2011, whatever. When did Toy Story 3 came out? In 2010. Anyway, I ate a lot of cereal. I eat a lot of cereal now, but I was kind of hoping that we'd get an interesting flavor here, and I feel like it's a little disappointing that they didn't have a more out there flavor. Even if I don't like it, give me something to like experience. Give me something unique. Like I don't know, the Toy Story 3 cereal, great. The Space Jam cereal, don't remember. It might actually just be this. The one that I am actually excited for, even though I don't really care about the movie per se, is there is going to be a Hocus Pocus cereal, and that one is like some flavor, some sort of berry. So I'm excited to try that one, weirdly enough, more so than even something like this. But we're going to give it a whirl. Maybe it's something magical, something I'm missing. Who knows? I got a reasonably sized tiny bowl that I washed out and a reasonably sized small spoon. And then I made sure to top it all off by having a completely regularly sized gallon of milk. So there is that. I've done this all backwards. I need to open this. So let's do this. We'll crack this open. Oh, hold on. I should check the Best Buy date here. March 25th, 2023. We're all set. Local man can't open cereal. More at 11. Has a pretty strong scent to it. We'll grab one. And, oh, okay. So you got regular, and then you have orange. There's orange, if you're curious. There's that. They're just stars. It's incredibly generic cereal. I think this might be like the exact recipe for the Space Jam cereal. Was the Space Jam stuff, was it Kellogg's? Hello? One marshmallow, please. One marshmallow? I would like at least a marshmallow. Hold on. The quest for marshmallows. Hold on. You have green, you have purple. No one's going to want to eat the cereal because I've dug my hands around in it. If you'd like some free Lightyear cereal, contact me. I'll find you pieces I haven't touched. Now, it is extremely generic, but it's not bad necessarily. It's just, it is that thing of like, could have been something cool, you know? Like, what if it was cheese? Because we all know the moon's made out of cheese, right? What if it was that? What if it was cheese cereal? Am I making enough of a crinkling noise? Okay. All right. We're just gonna move on from that. Okay. So we'll pour this in. Reasonably sized. Bam, bam, bam. All set to roll. Again, don't know how to put any of this down. Maybe there's something different with the milk. Who knows? So we'll get a good little group here. There's nothing exciting about this. There's nothing exciting at all. Even if it was half and half. Like we see that with the apple cinnamon Chex. Some of the Chex flavors they do where it's like half of them are the flavor, half of them are just regular. If the yellow or the orange bits in this were even just something interesting, purple, grape, berry, orange, I don't think you'd want it because maybe people would think they're eating Socks the Cat, but just something, anything, not anything, but melon, space food. I don't know. It's a real missed opportunity here. It has good crunch. The texture is decent. The marshmallows are fine. They taste like marshmallows, cereal marshmallows. It just doesn't. It's just nothing interesting here, which is unfortunate. Now that I have eaten the cereal, I'd actually like to talk about this movie because I went and saw it in Austin, Texas, and that was a cool experience. I went to the Alamo Drafthouse, which was kind of the first like chain theater to do dinner and a movie. So you go in. One of the really neat things that they do is they have unique pre-shows for every movie that they do. So when we went and saw Lightyear, they had a lot of like space themed stuff. They had some like commercials that were space themed. Like there was like a Barbie astronaut. They had that, and they had some like really old cartoons that they played. So it was a very unique and interesting start to it, which I like because I'm a person who goes to a lot of movies, and so you see the same pre-show every single time, and you're like kind of boring. But I also understand it because it needs to be just kind of generic. Nobody's really watching it. People are filing in. They're on their phones. They're talking to their friends, or they're me digging 5 items out of their backpack, twisting the cap so it doesn't make noise during the previews, ripping the label off, and making sure that we're set for the actual movie. So I liked that aspect of it. I would make sure that I was early just to see what they have for the movie that I'm going to see, because I quite enjoyed it. You go in, as that is playing, a waiter comes in, introduces themselves, and like, hey, I'm going to take care of you today. You have a menu in front of you. It's a very robust menu, and you get like full-on meals while you're eating this movie. I actually even had like a cider while I was watching a cartoon, which made me feel very adult. The weird thing about it, though, is that you get like the food delivered and everything's fine. It's great. Good pizza. Had a little ranch on it. It is too dark in the theater to like eat and watch a movie. I had dipped pizza in ranch, took a bite out of it, and then like 30 minutes later, put my hand down and found that I had spilled ranch on my pants. And I was like, oh, this has been here for who knows how long. That sucks. I had no idea that I dropped it. And it's hard to see what you're doing. You're like squinting and looking, and you're kind of missing the movie. And it was a unique experience that I'm glad that I went to. I would probably go to that theater regularly, but I would most likely treat it as a regular experience. Like, I'll get popcorn if I want it, or just kind of hang out and relax. The other thing is that they tell you at the beginning, they're like, okay, we'll be back with about 45 minutes to go. We'll drop off your check, and then we'll make sure that, we'll pick it up and do all that sort of thing. Which means that if you're watching a sad movie or a drama, there's a chance that someone comes by and goes, here's your check. And you're just going like, thank you. Which almost happened during this movie. Lightyear was a movie that I wasn't super sold on initially. I didn't understand why we needed this movie, and I still don't think we need it. I've never questioned the origin of Buzz Lightyear. I've never cared all that much about it. I just like him in the Toy Story franchise and in the Toy Story universe. Obviously, we got expansions on Woody's backstory in Toy Story 2. Cool. Again, Toy Story 2 is, I think, my least favorite of those 4 movies, personally. And it's not because we get backstory on Woody. It's just... 3 is the best. 1 is number 2. 4 is number 3. And 2 is number 4. But I digress. So we've gotten expansions in characters' backgrounds before. We don't need it with a lot of them because they're kind of name brand toys, or it just doesn't really matter. And I've always felt that that's just kind of what it is. It doesn't really matter. Buzz Lightyear's the cool new toy. It is a catalyst for Woody's arc through Toy Story 1, a movie that Disney had to look and go, we can't release this. Woody is too awful. He is irredeemable. You have to fix him and make him awful, like less awful, which is actually why I like Toy Story 1 so much, is because they don't have to get along initially. Like, you can be a jerk and then kind of, okay, I've been a jerk, like we got to do this together, sort of thing. I really like that arc. It's the same thing I like about Ratchet and Clank, the first Ratchet and Clank game. But I've never cared that much about Buzz Lightyear's backstory. And even watching the trailer, the first trailer, initially I was just like, do we really need this movie? Like, I don't know that I care. I feel like this would be way more interesting if this were just a completely new cast of characters. It's unrelated to anything that we have seen before and is just a space adventure movie. It's the Pixar space adventure movie. Kind of like Onward is kind of your Pixar fantasy movie. Like that sort of like new experience. But I either the trailer grew on me or I got Stockholm Syndrome. And I actually started to turn on it after seeing the trailer a couple more times in a theater setting, and just kind of, I think a couple more times in theaters. I think I maybe watched it once or twice more at home, just trying to figure out, like, why don't I like this? Why don't I care? And I wish that I had not seen the second trailer. Let me go back, actually. After seeing it a couple more times, it did kind of grow on me, and I did get, like, more excited for it. And I wish that I had only seen that first trailer, because the second trailer, I guess it seems, gives a lot away, and I felt like it gave too much away, and I still think it does give too much away, but the way that they turn some of the plot points to be a little different than you're expecting going in, I thought was actually very interesting. But as the movie got closer and closer, it was a movie that I was excited for, but I wasn't like, I gotta go like day one, like night one, gotta be there in the theater, do that sort of thing. And then it worked out where it came out June 21st or something like that, and I happened to be in June 14th, it doesn't matter. Came out in the middle of June. We were going to Austin in July, and it was kind of like, hey, let's take this movie that I'm excited for, but I don't need to see day one, make a cool experience of it while you're out of town. That sounds like fun. And I'm happy to report that I actually really enjoyed it. I think this is a movie that is, for me, a lot like Monsters University. A kind of not necessary prequel that expands upon characters that I enjoy, but this movie doesn't necessarily need to exist. But what it does so well is it just kind of sticks to what it does. Monsters University is a movie that I love dearly. I understand it is not the best Pixar movie from a plot perspective or a character perspective. Some of the stuff is like kind of shoehorned in there, but as like a straight up buddy comedy, it is fantastic. It is a breeze to watch. The pacing is excellent. The animation is fantastic. And the character arc, especially with Sully, is interesting to me. And it has arguably the best lesson in any of the Pixar movies, which is, hey, if you screw up, if you lie or you cheat or whatever, you can still redeem yourself. You might have to work a little harder, but you can still get to where you want to be. Just because you screw up doesn't mean it's all over. And that is where Lightyear really succeeds for me, is it nails stuff that I like. It's not a perfect movie. I have 4 exact problems with it. But as far as like a fun space adventure that is well paced, it's entertaining, it's humorous, it's beautifully animated, it nails so much of what it's going for that I just naturally go like, yes, I'm in. I like this. I do wish this were a movie that either was a completely different cast of characters set in a totally different universe, or B, what Tim Geddes had said on one of Kind of Funny's shows, I think it was probably the trailer reactions, that this was a soft reboot of the Lightyear franchise within the Toy Story universe, and like after Toy Story 4, this is where we're kind of going in this direction. And the reason I say that is because there are a couple of plot points that I don't think really work, and it's 2 of my major qualms with this movie. The first is the voice actor. I don't have anything against Chris Evans, but it doesn't make sense. This is canonically supposed to be the movie that Andy saw in 1995 that made him want that toy so much. Now, thinking about it in the year 2022 and thinking about Toy Story, which I've seen however many times since 1995, I never thought that Andy was so, like, Andy thought it was a cool toy, but I did not realize that in that world it was such a cool, like, the thing, sort of, you know, this is the moment, this is the toy, people want it, it is must have. I thought it was just kind of like, here's this cool toy, and he really liked it, and then he started to go, like, dig deeper and dive in and change all of his room and everything, whatever. Again, just a major catalyst for Woody to be a jerk. So that part kind of doesn't work, because now you have a voice actor who is not Tim Allen, which again, fine, whatever. If you go with a reboot, just whatever, who cares? But it just doesn't make sense that it's like he sounds this way in the movie, and then in 4 Toy Story movies that take place canonically after this, the toy that's based on this has a voice that's completely different. It's like, it doesn't work, and it doesn't make sense. I don't think people are really going to care that much, but I do think that it makes it a little odd at the beginning when it's like, in 1995, this is the movie that we saw. The second piece of this is how the suit connects into the movie. The suit that we are used to, the suit that we know with a red button, I meant to hit this side, the red button extends the wings and it has the different phrases, whatever. That it is shoehorned in a way that kind of reminds me of, again, going back to Monsters University, the way Randall is kind of just there and gets annoyed and like creates a rivalry out of seemingly nothing. It's this weird thing where the movie runs through its paces, where I'm talking about Lightyear here, sorry. Lightyear runs through its paces, and I kept waiting. I was like, when are you going to give him the suit that I'm used to? Where is the correct suit? And it shows up right at the absolute end, I guess, spoilers. And I think is really kind of shoehorned in there. It's kind of forced in there. But again, doesn't make sense for the world that we have already established in Toy Story. Why would the action figure that he gets from Buzz Lightyear be the one suit that shows up at the absolute end of the movie? It doesn't make sense. Hell, look at the toys that are out right now, and it's all the stuff during the large chunk before that, the hour and 35 minutes before that. I see what they're going for, and I just don't think it works quite as well as they want it to, which again, I think if you go back and you make it a reboot or a completely different set of characters, you've erased those 2 problems right off the bat. The other two points, and this actually has to do with the plot of the movie. I'm going to try and be vague. It is on Disney Plus right now, so you can watch it there. You can watch two different versions of it, which is interesting. They have an IMAX version and then a regular version. Some of the IMAX scenes, they'll like expand. If you watch the regular version, it'll all just be in widescreen. Anyway, I found that out today. I thought it was weird. There are two plot points that I think could have used more of a punch because they're right there to be that Pixar gut check. Number one is I thought that Buzz Lightyear should have had more of an emotional reaction to his sole focus on his mission and his, in some ways, selfish desires to get people where he thinks they want to be, if that makes sense. I thought that they could have really nailed that harder. They kind of gloss over it. They kind of like glance off of it, but they're not super committed to going like, you like let all of this time slip by and either you missed it or like, you know, people's lives or whatever. I just thought that they could have done more with that. And the same thing with one of the other characters in the movie, who throughout the film struggles with either self-imposed expectations or assumptions of other people's expectations of her. I thought they could have done more with that as well, because it is a very glossed over, again, really glossed over fact of someone just being like, hey, I know you think that you need to be like them, but you're you, sort of like that thing. And it's not nearly as, again, Pixar gut punch as it probably should be or could be, to really land that sort of thing. And again, kind of go back to the lesson. You got a lot of kids, you know, watching these movies and going like, hey, just because somebody else did something cool doesn't mean that you have to follow in those exact footsteps. You can be your own person and be just as unique, important, exceptional, all of that stuff. And I think you can really nail that in a way that I don't think a lot of other movie studios that's making movies for kids are willing to do. And it feels like Pixar pulled a couple of punches here. And that is unfortunate because I think that some of their, I don't think Pixar's had a bona fide like masterpiece since 2017's Coco. And I think that the last couple of movies have felt more, they have uniqueness to them, but from like a structure standpoint, it does feel a lot more like an assembly line production. There are moments that resonate and there are moments that like stand out and there's characters that you love and there are all those pieces, but we haven't seen the ups, the Toy Story 3s, the Inside Outs, the Cocos in about 5 years or so, which is a bummer to say as a big Pixar fan. I know that, you know, I'm a little older, maybe other people it's resonating with differently. And I'm sure that that is the case, but for me, I just don't think we've had that wow moment with Pixar for quite a while now. And I kind of miss it. But you know, maybe that's just my own perceptions. I don't know. Other than that, though, I do think that the movie is, again, it's beautifully animated. It runs at a really nice, brisk pace. It was engaging and interesting and fun, and it really hit kind of like 2009 sort of Star Trek-y, you know, action sci-fi stuff that just naturally works really well for me and is something that I really enjoy. So while this might not be everybody's cup of tea and people might rank it like a little bit lower on theirs, for me, I would probably rank it, I don't know that it's like top 10. I don't know how many movies Pixar actually has. It's definitely top like 50%, but it would definitely be in that Monsters University category for myself personally, where, boy, this is really hitting me in a way that I don't think the general consensus will put this much lower, sort of, if that makes sense. But I really enjoyed it. I think it's absolutely worth a watch, even if some of the moments don't quite land or they could have done more. There are two beautiful moments that happened in this movie that had me in absolute tears. and then laughing so hard I was in tears in like a 5-minute time span. And it was just gorgeous. And the way that they do the scene that just absolutely gutted me was so wonderfully two-sided. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean like kids will look at it and go like, oh, it's really sad because visually like X character doesn't look like they're doing their best, you know, visually, like, sad, like it's not, she's probably not going to make it, or I should say I should keep it vague, sorry. They might not make it much further. For me, it hit a note of he lost a lot of time doing what he was doing, and that just, that moment, if we could have had that moment 2 more times, it would have been amazing. But instead, it's just great. So I guess we're not really bumping down much on the scale, but it is still a movie that I really enjoyed. So there you go. Sorry that this video was a little bit long. I know sometimes these get a little long-winded, but I wanted to do more of a weekend review kind of hybridization of this. If you would like to watch Lightyear, if you'd like to watch Lightyear, you can check it out right now. It is on Disney Plus. It'll be coming to Blu-ray and 4K soon with a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook that I have my 4 eyes on. So you can do that as well. I appreciate you so much if you watched all the way through this video. If you just checked the cereal part out of that, hey, cool, thanks. I guess you're probably gone now, so you're not really seeing this. But I do appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you'd like to see more taste test, be sure to scroll down, subscribe, ring that bell. That way you're notified when I post new videos. And if you'd like to see more movie review content, just let me know down in the comments below. I don't mind trying to make some shorter things that go up kind of randomly. But either way, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate you watching this. We'll be back next week with another all-new episode of Taste Test right here on Saturday. So thank you for watching, and bon appetit.